Hello there. So I wanted to show you all how simple it can be to publish a book nowadays. And when I say simple, I mean that the technical aspect of it is much, much, much easier now than it ever has been. The gatekeepers of yesterday on this stuff are pretty much gone. And so one of the really cool things about what you can do is you can upload your manuscript, upload your cover photo, and submit it, set a price, all that fun stuff. And then it's available print on demand on Amazon, which is one of the biggest bookstores on the planet. So anyway, just something to think about. So this is the back end of my dashboard here. So this is through Kindle Direct Publishing. It's formerly CreateSpace. CreateSpace is still around, but they are basically merging them and sunsetting a lot of the functionality of CreateSpace. So they've made things a lot easier and cleaner on Kindle Direct Publishing. So I just wanted to show you how quick it can be to at least get the process started. So if you're thinking of writing a book, my biggest suggestion for you, first of all, is get a KDP account and at least create the dashboard, because there's something about that. It's almost like you're signaling to the world and to the universe, and most of all to yourself, that, you know what, yeah, I'm going to lean into this. I'm going to try this author thing just to see what happens. So anyway, once you're on the dashboard, you can start with either Kindle ebook or paperback. Kindle ebook is obviously more quick to get off the ground and get published, because you don't have to worry about like too much on the internal typesetting and that kind of thing. But for this, I like to start with paperbacks. So I'm working on a companion workbook that's going to go with the science of getting rich, how to think, how to act, and what to do to harness your creative potential. And that's going to be a paperback planner, like a daily planner that is themed with information and concepts from the book. So we'll start by hitting plus paperback. And then right here is basically the wizard that you go through, and it's much, much more streamlined than the process with CreateSpace. So first of all, you want to select your language and then pick your title. So in this case, this is my temporary title. And that's the other thing too, when you're doing this kind of work, is you want to create first and edit later. So much of the creative process is us getting stuck in our heads and feeling like we have to be perfect with everything. So my big thing is just get started and allow yourself the grace to go back and change things as you need to. So anyway, then you go through and add your name. This is going to be basically co-authored by the guy who wrote the original, which is named Wallace Wattles, but he passed away a long time ago, early 1900s, so he's not going to care too much here. And the majority of the content in this book, in this workbook in particular, is going to be my original content. I listed myself as the co-author on the original book because Mr. Wattles wrote the majority of the content. I just added my own translation, my own commentary on the creative process, that kind of thing. So basically what I'm doing here is I'm just adding a description that is essentially the same description of the book, and I'll just go back and edit this later. But for now, it's essentially just filling these boxes and getting that process started. So it tells you your character count down in the corner here. Your copywriting is really important whenever you're selling books, obviously, because people are going to read about it and figure out, you know, does this description give me impetus to actually buy the book? And so always making sure that you have clear stuff in the top of the description that essentially explains to your reader what it is that they're going to get out of buying the book. So just something to think about. So then here you pick your publishing rights. This is going to be my own copy. So here's where you choose your keywords. In this case, this book is very similar, and this workbook is going to be similar in theme of Napoleon Hill's book, Think and Grow Rich, which actually came out after The Science of Getting Rich. And they have a lot of similar concepts in them, but it's also going to be focused on people who are in like the self-help and making money, and we'll do productivity. And then you get to choose categories. This is going to be nonfiction, and you can obviously scan through all of these, and it just really depends on what you're doing. In my case, the self-help section, and probably looking for like maybe under personal growth, either success. I mean, there's a lot of different categories here, and so whenever you're designing your book, you have to think about who is this actually for, because that's how it's going to be marketed. So we'll check people who are interested in personal growth and success, and possibly people who are into NLP. That might be a little too specific in this case. Maybe creativity. But obviously this kind of thing you can always go back and change. And so here I am right now, shortly after telling you to just pick something and move on, trying to figure out, oh, which is the right one. So I'm an artist and an author just like you guys. So in this case, probably just going to pick creativity. You can only pick 2 in this particular section. So you hit save. Does this contain adult content? No. And I can go to save and continue. And it's asking me to fix highlighted errors. Not sure what's going on here. Oh, I can only have edition 1 because, again, that makes it easy for you to go back later and say that you have released a new version, maybe an updated amount of content, something like that. And it has saved part 1. Now it's going to ask for an ISBN number, which is basically a identification number for your book. If you have one, then you just click here. In this case, I'm going to have it assign a free one. And it basically says you can't use this ISBN to publish your book on other platforms. So assign the ISBN. And that right there, my friends, is officially putting a line in the sand and saying, yes, I'm creating a book when you get that ISBN number. So it's always a fun experience. You got to remember to celebrate this stuff. So I don't have a publication date yet. And this is where you pick all the interior print options and how you want it to display. I want a black and white interior with white paper. Color interior is obviously more expensive. And then here's where you select your size. And you've got all these different book sizes you can do. So it's pretty fascinating. You can create all kinds of different stuff. So for this, I'm going to want to create an 8.5 by 11 because that's essentially a full size letter sized piece of paper, and this is going to be a workbook. Then here you can add your bleed settings, how you want the cover to be finished, either glossy or matte. In this case, because it's a workbook, I'm going to go with matte. Here's where you would upload your manuscript. So obviously you have to have written the book, but there's a variety of different templates and things that you can use for your preferred trim size. And I'm actually going to end up doing that for this because I need to format the book and add all the content. So you can add your own cover, but I would strongly suggest, if you're not a designer, hire a designer to do your cover for you. It really makes a big difference. And contrary to the popular aphorism, people do judge a book by its cover, very, very much so. So make sure to hire a professional, and we are available if you need help with that. So just go to www.reformdesigns.biz if that's something that you'd be interested in, and we're happy to help you. From here, you can, once you've added all of this stuff, you can preview your book, but at this point, I'm not ready to move beyond that. So what I would do would just hit save as draft. And just like that, I am in progress with my next book, which is going to be a workbook. Whenever you want to go back to where you started, you just click on bookshelf. And that's it right here. So it's obviously not done yet, and I don't know why that's blinking, but I wanted to just share this with you really quick so that you can see how simple it can be to, at the very least, get started on your first or your next book. I hope this has been helpful and that you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out at www.reformdesigns.biz. If you need any help bringing your book or your ideas to life, we're happy to help. I'm Ryan Rhoades with Reformation Designs, and I'll talk to you next time.